for? I should have yelled too.
Caddyshack is a 1980 comedy film that was a box office success, but has become widely accepted as a classic comedy movie ever since its release. The movie stars Michael O'Keefe as Danny Noonan, a caddy at the exclusive Bushwood Country Club in Nebraska. Danny is working to earn money to pay for college. He caddies for Ty Webb, played by Chevy Chase. Webb is the son of one of the club's founders. Danny soon begins to caddy for the club's snobby co-founder, Judge Elihu Smales, played by Ted Knight. Judge Smales is the director of a caddy scholarship program that Danny hopes to use to his benefit.
How'd you like to mow my lawn? Huh? I figure a college-bound fella could use a few extra dollars, huh? And when you're finished, why don't you drop by the yacht club? Oh, thank you, sir. All right.
Al Chervik, played by Rodney Dangerfield, is a loud and free-spirited real estate developer. Rich and successful, but repugnant to the club's elite class, he begins attending the country club as a guest of one of the members.
Well, you buy a hat like this, I'll bet you get a free bowl of soup, huh? Oh, it looks good on you, though.
While Chervik angers Judge Smales, he gets along great with the younger crowd of caddies.
The man's a menace. All night. Cut that off!
In the meantime, Danny becomes attracted to Judge Smales' sexy and promiscuous niece, Lacey Underall, played by Cindy Morgan. Sent by her Manhattan parents to stay with her uncle for the summer, Lacey has flings with both Danny as well as Ty Webb.
I was born to love you. I was born to lick your face. I was born to rub you. But you were born to rub me first.
While all of this is taking place, an unstable greenskeeper named Carl Spackler, played by Bill Murray, has been given the task to hunt down a gopher that has been damaging the golf course.
Check me if I'm wrong, Sandy, but if I kill all the golfers, they're going to lock me up and throw away the key.
Golfers! They're great, not golfers. The little brown furry rodents.
We can do that.
Other characters include Sarah Holcomb of Animal House fame as Danny's Irish girlfriend Maggie, Brian Doyle Murray as Lou Loomis, the Caddyshack manager, and Scott Columbia of Porky's fame as Tony D'Annunzio, another one of the young caddies at the golf course. This movie was a decent hit at the box office, pulling in $60 million worldwide. Film critics were lukewarm to the movie upon its release. However, it aired so much on television in the 1980s and the 1990s that, along with the continued successful careers of those involved in making the movie, eventually gave it more of a cult following, and it's now seen as a pretty acclaimed comedy classic.
Caddyshack, coming up next here, Comedy Central.
Harold Ramis, who had been a writer on the 1978 film Animal House, had his directorial debut with this film. He often stated that he felt the final film should have been better than it was. The movie was inspired by writer and co-star Brian Doyle Murray's memories of working as a caddy at a golf club. His brother Bill Murray, as well as Ramis, also worked as caddies when they were teenagers.
I have a number of tees in my hand. Your Honor, odd or even?
Odd.
Odd it is. Your Honor, Your Honor.
The movie was pitched to the studio as Animal House on a golf course, and it was created by most of the same team that had worked on that film. While the movie takes place in Nebraska, it was actually filmed in southeast Florida from September to November 1979. Filmmakers chose Florida over Los Angeles to keep the Hollywood studio executives from interfering. Production was briefly halted in early September due to Hurricane David. The storm wet the ground floor of the cast and crew's hotel so much that they found it covered with earthworms. The studio, nervous about first-time director Harold Ramis, wanted at least one big-name Hollywood star in the movie. Ramis approached Don Rickles to play Al Chervik, but he declined. He also sought out Mickey Rourke to play the role of Danny Noonan, but the studio thought Rourke wasn't funny enough to do comedy. When Ramis secured Chevy Chase, the studio was satisfied. One infamous trivia fact about the production of this film is all the drug use. Cocaine was everywhere on the set. Many cast and crew members have stated that the filming of Caddyshack was one huge drunk, coked-up party. Harold Ramis would avoid the after-parties, though, to focus on the next day's shoot, but he did attend the wrap party and ended up so wasted that he had to be carried back to his hotel room. There was also some tension on the set, particularly with actor Ted Knight, who was a traditional actor sticking to his script and was often thrown off by Rodney Dangerfield's improvisation and ad-libbing.
Okay, you can owe me.
I owe you nothing.
He also was not accustomed to the hard partying atmosphere among the cast and crew. The relationship between Chevy Chase and Bill Murray was considered frigid at best due to the tension the two had had during their time on Saturday Night Live. An interesting tidbit, Chevy Chase's character at one point briefly calls Danny Betty.
I like you, Betty.
That's Denny, sir.
Danny.
Chase would later sing that line, "I Can Call You Betty," in the Paul Simon music video for "You Can Call Me Al" in 1986.
I can call you Betty, Betty, when you call me, you can call me Al.
Actress Cindy Morgan rejected doing a photo spread for Playboy magazine to help promote the movie, and was very reluctant to do her nude scenes. She would later turn down a role in the massive box office hit Porky's due to the nudity and sex scenes required for her character. She and actor Scott Columbia would date for 2 years following this movie. In fact, when her character walks past him at the pool, he was supposed to say a line, but he couldn't and just licked his lips. This was left in the film. Her character's last name, Underall, was a pun on the popular brand of women's pantyhose at the time, as was the name of the country club itself, Bushwood. The soundtrack was a hit as well, with Kenny Loggins having several songs in the movie. Most notable was "I'm All Right," which was a top 10 single in the United States in the fall of 1980. The rock band Journey's hit song "Any Way You Want It" was also featured on the soundtrack, and would jam on the charts throughout 1980. There have been some political discussions about whether or not Rodney Dangerfield's character of the brash, obnoxious, confident, cocky, rich real estate developer and businessman Al Chervik promoted an archetype in the American subconscious that may have in some subliminal and unconscious way contributed to the election of the brash, obnoxious, confident, and cocky rich real estate developer and businessman Donald Trump as President of the United States in the year 2016. While that seems like an exaggerated claim, Donald Trump's highest support came from the demographic of people born in the 1980s or prior, who likely spent decades exposed to his work playing this character.
Hey, boys, how are you?
Hey, how are you?
Hey, we're both starving. When do we eat, huh?
You have worn out your welcome at Bushwood, sir.
Is that so? Who made you pope in this dump, huh? Only reason I'm here is maybe I'll buy it.
It was widely discussed in news articles and editorials that the characters played by Rodney Dangerfield in Caddyshack, as well as his 1986 film Back to School,
And the reason guys like you got a place to teach is because guys like me donate buildings. I hereby dedicate this building to myself.
are quite analogous to the personality of the 45th President of the United States.
My baby's bigger than your whole boat!
Caddyshack gets 10 out of 10 stars from me, not just because it's an enjoyable film, but also due to its ever-growing popularity as an American comedy classic. I recommend Caddyshack.